Hey y'all, slowly catching up with another war video here, and today we have a massive Serpent war with some light support from Hood and Odin. So we're headed for a really big Serpent fight that I'll talk about later, but as soon as we saw it, I said, yeah, I can take that, but I need to be ramped. So the paths on the way there were in no small part taken so that I could use Serpent and pick up some more Dread, right? So that's why we're not using a tactic option for this Hitmonkey here, because Hitmonkey is annoying, and him being unblockable is that much more annoying, but Serpent is a very, very good option, given the evade counter without a need for a debuff to stick or anything like that. And so this is a really easy way for him to pick up one of the two charges that I'm going to want going into that big fight later. Which, actually, I just realized I don't need to be coy about, because if you clicked on this, you saw the thumbnail. Yeah, we need to be ready for Bullseye, right? Because Dread reduces the damage of instant damaging effects, like Bullseye's Bleed, and that's what we're focusing on. So I'm just, keeping the true focus up. Hitting Hitmonkey until he dies, basically. This is pretty darn simple. As a reminder, the Fear can't stop the unblockable from the tactic because it's protected from ability accuracy reduction, but everything else about the fight is very much in our favor. The other thing to point out on that fight was that part of the reason I was using Serpent and not Odin, who has True Strike, was because that was the glancing node, right? And I wanted to keep my hits smaller, which Serpent is generally better at. That's the other reason to use the special one. Make sure you don't trigger Rage. And then this fight against Spider-Ham, kind of an empty placement, honestly, which is, of course, means it's a path split, right? But relatively simple fight here because this node is built around the defender gaining buffs and then that kind of snowballing. Spider-Ham doesn't have any buffs, so this is basically just, block damage sure is annoying, but that's okay. We're going to be regenning a bit from that with the taunt. It's going to take a while, just because of the taunt and because his spider nonsense is starting to climb up there. I'm not being really great about throwing my special one immediately after I get to a bar, which is allowing it to tick up a bit. But, that's just kind of what you expect against Spider-Ham. He is low-key tanky in very annoying ways. Looking for another opening here. There we go. I was trying to make sure that I had a bit more control over when I hit into his block and then threw this to avoid spider nonsense ticking up, but it turned out it ticked up anyway. There we have a lovely missed intercept. Will not miss that particular issue. We wait for the popper to fall off, and of course now he is fully at 10. Never mind, he's at 8 because I messed up a heavy dex. Oh, I forgot about that. Because ideally what happens when he gets to 10 is you just wait it out, right? And so if I had handled that heavy dex at the wall correctly, then it would have expired right after that. We would have done a bit more damage there instead of throwing a special into 10 spider nonsense. But whatever. We needed the true focus back. It's not the end of the world. Slow fight, but right after this we are fully ramped, and it's a safe fight. So that's what we care about. Move on to section 2. Take yet another fight with Serpent. We kind of had a glut of these here. We're taking this Shocker on Fisticuffs. Now, as a reminder, this looks bad for Serpent on paper because he can't get his power gains for 30 seconds. He'll never get his big fury that he gets on fight start unless I go up to the special 3, which probably isn't going to be worth it given the lack of power gain at first. But every time one of these buffs is prevented, I am going to gain a charge, and so my attack rating is going to go up. I am going to get these passives as we go. I am still benefiting from the fight going on. even though I don't have the normal things that I want. We get an intercept there, reduces his charges. It doesn't really matter if we reduce his charges for the purposes of the auto block, by the way, because that's just how you play Serpent, is to be careful around that and try and make sure you're unblockable the whole time. Love getting hit by that special one. But I do like to reduce his charges if it feels safe to me, just so I don't have to worry about him being unblockable and stunning me, because Shocker is annoying. So there we go, same thing, reduce the charges, throw the special one here. Like, we're making good progress, it's just that Shocker's animations are obnoxious, right? His animations are obnoxious, and his block damage is very high because of the way he interacts with armor, and that's basically the whole story of every Shocker fight ever. Not that hard, just annoying. But we're going to close it out here and move on to Joe Fixit. Now, this fight I could have done with Serpent as well. It would have worked perfectly fine. I just would have avoided the special one because that places a debuff and would trigger Conflictor. Or maybe I would lean into Conflictor to push Joe to special 2. Either way, because I have Odin on the team already to provide Serpent with extra buffs, it made sense for me to use my rank 3 Odin on this Joe, because Joe tends to do an annoying amount of block damage, and it made sense to eat that block damage with the character who's not going to be taking any more fights, and therefore who is just, who I won't have to use any potions on. Sorry, that's where the brain was going. So we are letting some prowess build here, and that's not ideal, right? You kind of want to stick to the medium light here, because prowess plus the impact is obnoxious, and that is why Joe is placed here, right? So I'm trying to only trigger it as I am pushing him to special 2, like I did there, but it's also not the end of the world, because even though Joe has block pen and reduces block proficiency and has prowess and has extra attack, he's annoying. He doesn't have anything that directly messes with Odin's armor, right? And so the main reason that Odin blocks well is because of his armor, and Joe isn't messing with that. So we are taking some damage here, but it would look much worse for someone else, which is the other reason I like the Allfather here. Ideally, we would wait out these heavies. I don't remember if I do. I definitely don't. The other thing that I could have done there was I could have thrown the special to fresh off of a dex to have one more buff. I let it expire there. That's okay. We're going to finish this off nice and quick. And like I said, I don't have another fight with Odin, so he's coming out of this fight with about 80% more health than I need him to, strictly speaking. Now we move on to the main event, this rank 4 Bullseye on Footloose. Now there are a number of counters to this that answer it more directly. Serpent kind of just says you're not going to evade, and that's all that matters, right? So I think I was holding on to that last buff just in case he needed it. I was waiting to see what happened on the rest of the map, ended up not needing it, and so I'm just putting all of them on Serpent. And as you can immediately see, the important part here is that I'm winning the Rich Get Richer race, right? And I will continue to win the Rich Get Richer race even after Bullseye throws a special and gains his 3 buffs. So I'm just going to be spamming specials here, because I'm going to have them all the time, and they're going to let me do damage without needing to worry about basically anything in Bullseye's kit. Now, these crits into block are annoying, but Serpent reduces critical penetration, so we're not taking as much damage from them as we normally would. As we said earlier, Dread also reduces the potency of instant damaging effects, so we're taking less from that. Which comes in really handy when I fully run into a special 1 there, trying to hit into his block. So, yeah, that would have taken most other champions down by probably at least 50% of their health, and Serpent kind of shrugged it off, specifically because we are ramped here, right? So that's why it was so important to make sure that we had those previous fights. Because while an unramped Serpent can do this, you have to play close to perfectly, I think, to make sure that you're not in the danger zone with losing health. And I didn't want to put that burden on myself. Which, as you can see, is a good call because I ran into one of Bullseye's specials. So yeah, rank 3 Serpent versus rank 4 Bullseye. Really efficient answer if you can manage to path it, specifically with the Odins. We move on to Weapon X here. Kind of a similar approach. This is the Mixmaster node. This is also a rank 4 Weapon X. We're using Serpent again simply because he doesn't need to worry about the evade, and in the long haul he's going to win. So this is not going to be as fast as some other characters might be, but we are going to have that cold snap. All of those red numbers from the instant damaging effects are going to like soft bypass Weapon X's regen because the damage dealt part of his kit is going to ignore them and just focus on the hit damage. And so we are going to be making steady progress, even though at any given point he is obviously regenning quite a bit. Additionally, note that the fear here is giving him extra healing from willpower. I could have maybe tried to play this exclusively with Special 2s to avoid that, but I think the Special 1 was probably the overall higher damage choice anyway, simply because, as you can tell by looking at him, Weapon X doesn't really have a lot of armor. And if you're fighting an opponent that doesn't have a lot of armor, then the Special 1 isn't, or the Special 2 isn't really something that you should be focusing on. So now we're into the second rotation here of Berserk. Plenty of regen. That's fine. We are still making progress. The other thing is that because we're getting power over time, it's easier than it often is in this kind of a fight to just let his rage charges fall off and have to deal with generally a bit less regen. And that's going to mean that we just need to hit him one more time. There we go. And the fight's over. We're at full health. Moving along. Still less than 2 minutes, so could definitely have been worse. Alright, next up we have a hazard shift fight with Hood against this Gladiator. The important thing to note here is that Hood can't go invisible right away, which makes life a little bit more annoying against Gladiator. But the big thing on this fight is that Hood starts power locked. So I can't just start hitting the way I normally would, because normally with Hood against hazard shift you want to place your staggers early. You want to stagger some buffs, gain some Mystic Dispersion power from them, and then get up to your Special 2 so you can start turning off Hazard Shift. While I'm power locked, there's no point in doing any of that, because I won't gain the Mystic Dispersion. So we just wait, and now we go on the offensive. So we're going to lose some health to these early debuffs, but that's fine. The stagger just got us where we needed to be, and now I can just sidestep into the Special 2, and we're good to go. So at this point, I'm just being as aggressive as possible. I think I might try and cash out again after this next Special 2, but we're not necessarily going to rush it. I don't think I go for the heavy here. Yeah, because I'm baiting out the specials. That's fine. I probably could have gone for the heavy there. And I think, yeah, there we actually lose our Hex. You can see the Incinerate get on us, so that was kind of annoying. But the cash out kills, and we move on to the next fight. Now, this is another Hood fight. We don't really care about the ability accuracy this time. We're just focused on the Fate Seal, because if Aarkus doesn't have buffs, then he doesn't have power gain. And he also is not having buffs end, which means we don't have to worry about the Falter. Not to mention the Unstoppable. Basically just get Fate Seal early, turn everything off. That's the full focus here. Trying to get those staggers up, so I was a bit aggressive early there. Did get an armor break on me. Means I'm taking some cold snap damage. And there's the Special 2, and we are good to go, right? I didn't want to get the Unstoppable triggering at the wrong time, and so that's why I did just wait for the Special 2 there until the Unstoppable triggered on us, just to be extra safe. But yeah, things are going well here. I probably could have cashed out there, but was waiting just to bait out these specials. I think because I don't have another hood fight, I'm probably just trying to be extra safe, push to another special to get the extra bullets from it, and just ensure that this kills. But I do want to say that's not necessary. I definitely could have played this fight by heavy countering those special ones that Aarkus threw, because it doesn't matter if Hood doesn't KO the opponent with a cash out, you're still getting the damage, you still have bullets for later. So that's technically room for improvement next time. Yeah, that was my war. Went well. Tough defense as always against GT. Pretty sure we lost this one without me looking back, but I really enjoyed my fights. Serpent is a lot of fun to play, and using those lesser-known parts of his kit, the bonuses in Dread, which normally you're just worrying about on defense as opposed to leaning into on offense, makes me happy. Using the whole design, so to speak. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, and until next time, take care.